Is reading or thinking about an ideology wrong? How can that be a threat to the society? Are all your rights absolute? How can just keeping a book can lodge you in jail with bail next to impossible? How a protest or being a part of a protest or just being a friend to a member of a protest can change your life upside down? Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, also known as UAPA, at present is the strongest and the most dangerous law existing in India. A draconian law that makes it nearly impossible for the accused to get a bail. Hello people, my name is Liza and in this video I will be telling you about UAPA, and by the end of this video you will have answers to all the questions asked above and the answers as to why a 5 to 8 week pregnant activist is still not granted bail and lodged in Tihar jail. Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967 is an Indian law aimed at effective preventions of unlawful activities associations in India. UAPA was brought in 1967 to curb the associations which were working against the unity, integrity and sovereignty of India. Why was UAPA enacted? Why was it primarily a need of India? So as per our constitution, first draft under Article 19, which was being misused, and the government felt to put a lid on the citizens' fundamental rights. In 1962, in Sino-Indian War, where India lost, many activists and communist organizations were formed, which were in the support of China openly, which caused a threat amongst the citizens of India. And there were agitations going on to divide India on the basis of language. In such a background, India needed a strong law for its unity and to stop the unlawful activities practiced by these certain association and communists, or these organizations, also known as the anti-Indian groups then. So the National Integration Council, also known as the NIC, formed a committee and proposed further restrictions on citizens' fundamental rights. The 16th Constitution Amendment Act was passed in 1963, empowering the Parliament to impose by law reasonable restrictions to the interest of sovereignty, integrity of India, freedom of speech and expression, right to assembly peacefully and without arms, and right to form association or unions. So under UAPA, the main powers lies with the government. If the government assumes or thinks any organization had links to an anti-India group and is a threat to the society, the government can ban the organization. However, we still do not have a perfect or a clear definition of association. There is no need of the interference of the judiciary. The UAPA gives ample powers to the government to do so. UAPA has been amended many times as per its needs to maintain peace. As per the latest amendment passed on 2nd of August 2019, no prior permission is required by the state police for NIA to run a speedy procedure and stop any terrorist activities to cut the delay. And any individual suspected or assumed to be linked of any terrorist agencies will be called a terrorist and can be charged under UPA. The saddest part is we do not have a specific definition of terrorism or a terrorist agency or the word terrorist organization. And under such circumstances, the idea and the voice of the need of the hour is tagged as terrorism. The concept of terrorism gang was introduced under UAPA. The police can keep the person in custody for the maximum time and putting him or her in jail without a charge sheet for 6 months, and also to put in strict restrictions of bail were brought in under UAPA. The definition of terrorism is vague. It is not crystal clear. And if you go on as per the flow of the definition of terrorism as per UAPA, political protest is considered to be a terrorist activity. UAPA gives powers to search, seize and arrest without warrant. Police can keep him or her in custody with presenting no charge sheet for up to 180 days and in police custody for up to 30 days. However, as per CRPC, the maximum police custody is of only 14 days. These cases can go for camera proceeding trials where the accused is not even produced in the court and the witness is kept secret, who secretly testifies the proof of having links with terrorist gang of that person. This might interest you that UAPA criminalizes ideology and association, which is the core problematic area of this act. In 2002, the government banned SIMI, which was the Student Islamic Movement of India, as the government has the banning powers, even though they had no links to the terrorist world and were mere students, activists who were put in jail under this UAPA Act. Just to simplify, it means that if any Indian says that our government is not working properly and looking only after the rich, the statement is causing a disaffection against the Indian and can be charged under UAPA. So the thought of an ideology is banned. Even having a book on Mao or Nexel or any communist party in anyone's possession can put him or her in jail, wherein the bail is next to impossible, lightening the concept of thought crime. You may not want to bring a revolution. You need not have a gun at your possession. Just the thought of being a follower of a communist party or an organization, or for example reading a book of Naxal, can make you a terrorist. So having a book or reading a literature of such organization is a crime. Following such a page online and upholding its ideology is a crime. Being a member to such a group or shouting some mere slogans for a protest in public is a crime, which can cause disaffection as per the government's definition. Attending meetings of such organization where you haven't done anything but it amounts to a crime. And the strangest part, the definition of membership is not clearly defined under this act. And due to the lack of police investigation, a person is just tagged as terrorist without having ample concrete evidences against him, but just on mere assumptions that he or she may have been linked to a terrorist organization or a gang. There is a need of proper definition under such stringent law. Under Indian Penal Code, the police needs to show specific grounds on arrest of a person. The person also gets bail, but under UAPA, no concrete evidence is required to over a year or 6 months in police custody. Yes, the Article 21, which is right to life and liberty, and Article 19, which is right to freedom of speech and expression, assembly, associations, are being infringed upon the sections of UAPA. I would like to quote some cases. It was KK Shahina. She is a journalist. She was just taking interviews of some suspects of the Mumbai blast. The second, GN Sai Baba. He is an handicapped, paralyzed professor of DU, serving a life imprisonment. And lately, Ms. Safora Zargar, a sociology student of Jamia Millia Islamia, 8-week pregnant, was arrested at 10:30 p.m. on 10th of April 2020. She is lodged in the Tihar jail in Delhi when the whole country is under lockdown. Charged under UAPA for protesting CAA, and she was not the only one to be arrested. There were 100 others arrested with her. As per a research, every 7 out of 10 cases of UAPA, the accused are found innocent and are acquitted. However, the process of proving themselves innocent can go on for years and they end up spending their crucial years in jail. They do get innocent, they do prove themselves not guilty. Can they lead a normal life? Technically they should, but thanks to our society's ideology, once a person went to a jail is always a criminal, irrespective of him being innocent and proven not guilty by the court. This act should not be aiming at creating fear by silencing the voices by slapping the most dangerous charges against them. We definitely need UAPA for the country's unity, integrity, sovereignty, and to maintain the decorum of peace. But the act needs to be streamlined to stop its misuse against civilized Indian citizens. Our constitution exists to protect us from consequences of those imperfections. The key motive of this act should be to control terrorists and other violence and disruptive activities, and not shutting down the thoughts which can bring change for good. Do tell me, what do you think about this act? Leave a comment in the comment section below, analyzing if the powers which the government has are being used or misused in certain cases.